that. Men ain't shit. Women get the ick when a guy breathes. I have to train my boyfriend because he doesn't know how to treat a woman right. Women like to cause problems and make things difficult for the sake of it. It just keeps going on and on and on like an ultimate ping pong match. And again, there's a truth to these things. But when you're constantly consuming this type of information, you end up getting stuck in an echo chamber where all you hear is that men are trash, women are problematic, and because others are reaffirming what everyone else is saying, you assume that it must be the norm, not the exception. And maybe you're thinking,
he's right. He's right. He's so right. He's so freaking right. It's insane because yes, you get on social media and all you hear is just negative stuff about the other sex all day, and then you have your anecdotal evidence of you trying to sit there and impress and be with the wrong people. Then you sit there and you get affirmed online by all this toxic dating coaches and stuff like that, and these cheating stories and all this stuff. You sit there, you got cheated on, and then you go online and these social media influencers like Fresh and Fit in there saying women are this, women are that, they hate, you should hate them, da da da, they all cheat, and you be like, I did just get cheated on. Now you sit there and you get sucked into a black hole of just hating everybody.
What is your cause? Please enlighten our audience. What do you want?
Alright, y'all, I'm back with another banger for y'all young boys today, man. And hey, man, I'm back with another special reaction video for y'all young boys today, man. Sorry, y'all, today we're gonna be reacting to Social Media is Killing Romance by So Yo Think I'm Stupid. This is a very hot topic that I've been wanting to cover for a long time, and I'm glad that So Yo sat here and made a video explaining the topic, and I can't wait to hear his thoughts and give my thoughts, because you know I'm a professional yapper, you know, and I'm proud of it. But alright, y'all, before we get to the video, man, don't forget to like, share, subscribe if y'all new, y'all, and let's get into the video, man.
is romance dead in the modern world? Why am I asking? Well, the other day I was talking with my mom over lunch, and I asked her about how she and my dad met. Let me tell you, the story's straight out of a K-drama low-key. When I heard the story, it made me wonder where the romance has gone in the modern world. It seems like the most common occurrence in this day and age is hookups, toxic relationships, cheating, and overall just guys and girls going straight for each other's jugulars because they see the other party as the most heinous and vile human beings whose sole purpose is to ruin lives. And
that's so sad. And he's very right about that. Like, you just go under any like social media, like TikTok or YouTube video, when it's like one sex bashing the other, bro, you're just gonna be sitting there seeing a whole gender war in the comments. Like, you can't, like, it's always a giant gender war. Like, it's either men that hate all women or women that hate all men. Like, men sitting there calling women they're all promiscuous, they're all thoughts and bops and all this stuff, and then women just think all men are just horny monsters that sit there and all they can do or are capable of is cheating and then giving them money. You know what I'm saying? They just look at men as giant wallet bags or giant bags of money that just sit there and will finance their whole life. And it's so sad. It's so sad to see that men and women going at it, because at the end of the day, they're both the same. You know, they're both two different sides of the same coin. Like, y'all be arguing damn near the same points. If y'all just sat there and just took a step back and just realized that the conflicts y'all having are so simple and minuscule, and we're supposed to be sitting there. The main point of like the two genders, we're supposed to be sitting there working together on this planet to sit there and reach our maximal species potential and stuff like that. But y'all just be so caught up in just stupid social media drama, stupid social media and like superficial drama. It's sad.
there's a truth to what's being said because, I mean, just look at the state of dating relationships today.
It's so
you could
sad.
probably even ask your parents for advice on how to get a partner, and when they give you their advice, you'll probably think that that wouldn't work today or that people would be weirded out if you tried it. And it makes me wonder how it came to this point. What was originally seen as a romantic gesture that would move hearts has now become cringe or doing too much. Like, y'all, you probably wouldn't be alive today had your dad not pulled out that move on your mom. And I get it, times change and culture shifts. But I've gotta wonder, are we moving forwards or backwards? Let's talk about it. The type of information you consume on a regular basis heavily influences your perspective on this topic, which makes sense because your cognitive library of information and experiences shapes your worldview. Let's say you lived a simple life as a farmer in a small but closely knit community where everyone knew and looked out for each other. You spend your free time taking long walks, enjoying nature, and volunteering in community events. Your day-to-day experiences mainly consist of hard but fulfilling work, tranquility, and joy. With this type of lifestyle, you probably have a more positive and optimistic outlook on life. Now, on the other hand, let's say this isn't really theoretical anymore, but let's take your and most people's lives as an example. You're probably working a stressful job that you might not particularly enjoy, but endure anyway because it gets the bills paid. Because it's so stressful and draining, you go to the internet to mentally escape and recharge. And it's on the internet where you get absolutely overloaded with all kinds of information. News, celebrity drama, content creators being exposed for and people saying the most insulting and hateful things because it's the internet. Everyone's anonymous and therefore aren't held accountable for their actions.
That is true. The internet is not even supposed to technically exist. Like, it's not natural for us to sit there and have that much access to people on the internet, bro. Like, that's a big thing too. I'll just use men for example because I am a man. Say like Instagram models and stuff like that. I'm not supposed to have access to thousands of Instagram models all day. I shouldn't be able to just pull out my phone and just see thousands of the most gorgeous women on the planet, bro. I'm supposed to just sit there and be in my small town, my area, and then just have access to who I can see. I shouldn't be sitting there focused about big booty Rebecca or something like that in like LA or Miami. I shouldn't be sitting there concerned about them or thinking about them because I should never have met them. Like, you're stressed about people, or we're stressed about people that we have no business even knowing or looking at, you know? So that's a big reason why a lot of men sit there and overthink or sit there and only be thinking about these. Oh, I gotta get me this bad bitch right here. Or I gotta get me this. I gotta get me that. But it's like, you're not even supposed to like see her in the first place. So it's an overload of information, and it makes you compare your situation and what you're supposed to be doing to people that you're not even supposed to be interacting with in the first place. That's the problem with social media. You end up comparing yourself to people that are at the high top of society. You'll look at your girl like, heck, why don't you look like Lotto? Why don't you look like Ruby Rose? Or why can't I get Ruby Rose? Or why can't I get Lotto? Or something like that. When you're not even supposed to be sitting there and actually be able to meet those people in the first place. And if you do meet them people, most likely they're not going to have the same amount of... They're not going to have thousands of other men in their DMs and stuff like that because they're not supposed to exist, you know?
This is the type of information you're constantly exposed to. Would it be any surprise if you think the world is on fire and that there's no hope for humanity? The same logic can be applied to your perspective on dating. The type of relationship content that is most likely to be fed to your algorithm are the ones that are negative and hostile towards the opposite sex. And this makes sense because it's engaging and gets a reaction out of you, whether it be because you share the same experience or because it's rage bait. My ex cheated on me this. My partner is toxic and manipulative that. Men ain't shit. Women get the ick when a guy breathes. I have to train my boyfriend because he doesn't know how to treat a woman right. Women like to cause problems and make things difficult for the sake of it. It just keeps going on and on and on like an ultimate ping pong match. And again, there's a truth to these things. But when you're constantly consuming this type of information, you end up getting stuck in an echo chamber where all you hear is that men are trash, women are problematic, and because others are reaffirming what everyone else is saying, you assume that must be the norm, not the exception. And maybe you're thinking,
he's right. He's right. He's so right. He's so freaking right. It's insane because yes, you get on social media and all you hear is just negative stuff about the other sex all day, and then you have your anecdotal evidence of you trying to sit there and impress and be with the wrong people. Then you sit there and you get affirmed online by all this toxic dating coaches and stuff like that, and these cheating stories and all this stuff, and you just sit there and think, hey, based on my personal experience and these people online that are probably grifting for money and views and something like that, that's a whole nother topic because a lot of these social media influencers don't be sitting there actually telling the truth or don't be going what they preach about. But let's say, for the sake of this argument, you know, you sit there, you got cheated on, and then you go online and these social media influencers like Fresh and Fit in there saying, women are this, women are that, they hate, you should hate them, da da da, they all cheat, and you be like, I did just get cheated on. Now you sit there and you get sucked into a black hole of just hating everybody. So yeah, he's right about that. He's extremely right about that. Like, social media can just sit there and just put you in a dark place.
Well, yeah, everyone's saying it's true. Everyone has shared similar personal experiences before. Doesn't that mean that it is the norm? Not necessarily. Remember, the type of content that is most likely to be fed to the algorithm and go viral are the ones that are the most emotionally charging and engaging, and negative emotions are far more potent and impressionable than positive emotions. You hear it all the time. People online may get thousands of positive comments and compliments, but as soon as they read one negative comment, it lives in their head rent-free for a longer period of time than the positive ones, and it's because negativity is far more potent. That's why the news consists mainly of fear-mongering and negative events, and why everyone is drawn to drama. We engage with negativity far more than we do with positivity, and that's why it's constantly being fed to us. Furthermore, people are more likely to share negativity than positivity. If you've been wronged, you're more inclined to voice out your grievance and seek retribution, right? You have something to prove, and when you're validated for it, it feels amazing. Especially more so when you've had a history of bad relationships and therefore hardly ever experienced validation and reassurance. But on the other hand, if your life is just swell and everything is going well for you, maybe you'd want to share your experience at times, but more often than not, you're keeping it to yourself because you're just vibing and enjoying the moment. When you're happy and genuinely enjoying the moment, you aren't going, hold on, I'm going to put this on my Instagram or TikTok to show how happy I am. You'd be breaking yourself out of the immersion, and at that point, you aren't thinking about how happy you are. Instead, you're thinking about wanting other people to see that you appear happy. There's a subtle difference. Put more succinctly, there's more to life than what goes on in our screens. The ones that are in happy, healthy relationships aren't living their lives on the internet, which is why we rarely...
I think there's actually a statistic that proves that too, that people that don't post their relationships online or don't be sitting there chronically online are a lot happier than people that are, that are chronically online and stuff like that. So I think he actually has a lot of truth with that.
Ever see any positivity about relationships online. And for the scarce few that do exist online, we most likely won't run into it because it's not as emotionally engaging or relatable, and therefore won't be fed to the algorithm. But overall, something to keep in mind is that happy and healthy relationships don't exist online. They exist in the real world.
He's right.
This isn't to say that the things people complain about online are invalid. Far from it, actually. The reality is that there are so many people out there who have no business getting into relationships. Many of us today have a lot of baggage and issues about ourselves that we need to sort out, but instead of doing the internal work to fill that void within ourselves, we seek other people to fill that void for us. And surprise, surprise, it doesn't work.
I think what happens with that is a hurt person will hurt a person, and now that person's hurt. And even if they try to go and find someone else, bro, they still carry on that hurt without sitting there having to sit there and get over that past hurt. And all they do is just pass that hurt to another person who then hurts another person, another person, another person. And no one basically gets healed. It's like when you leave a toxic or bad relationship, you need to sit there and take your time to heal and just realize that, hey, that person was just a bad person. That doesn't mean that all people are bad people. It's just the person that I chose to be with is a bad person, and I just got to keep going out there and just keep looking for someone that's actually a good person and actually vibes and matches with me. But that only can happen when I sit there and let go of that past hate and anger, because me personally, I've sat there and been in that situation. I had a bunch of bad relationships, and I went to a dark time in my life where I was like, hey, I'm gonna just go around just going crazy. I'm gonna go around going crazy. I'm gonna just sit there and just hurt anyone I can get in my way. It don't matter. I'm gonna just go get mine. But then I sat there and thought before I really got deep into it and really started hurting people, I thought to myself, I'm like, bro, is this even you? I thought to myself, like, bro, is this even you for real? Like, are you really this type of person? You know, you have to just think about that. Like, am I really this type of person? Do I really want to become the person that hurt me? And will that actually make me feel better in the long run? No, it doesn't. It rarely ever does. All it sits there and does is just sit there and makes you hurt even more. And all you did was just pass that hurt into other people that didn't deserve it. So you got to pull yourself away from all the negativity, all the BS online that will sit there and make you think that you need to sit there and do these toxic things. Because they will go online like, oh yeah, you should just sit there and say F all women and just knock their ankles loose and keep going. But like, no, you got to stay away from the internet. You got to stay away from just all the toxic women and all this other stuff, bro. You just got to sit down, reevaluate your life, get yourself together, revisit your mind, and sit there and reconstruct it and build yourself back up. Everything always comes back better once you sit there and take the time for yourself to heal. And you can't do that by going on social media and listening to Fresh and Fit all day.
We're not filling that void. We're just hiding it so that we no longer are aware that it exists. And this results in us projecting our insecurities and problems onto our partners, leading us to make stupid choices and deeply hurting them in the process. Or, on the other hand, it leaves us susceptible to ignoring red flags and falling or settling for people that don't give us the love and respect we deserve. Either way, we end up a statistic in the cycle of trauma and toxicity. We're human, so of course we have our flaws and ignorant moments. The bitter reality is that sometimes we may need to go through these experiences to grow and learn from them. It only becomes an issue when we don't hold ourselves accountable for our actions and instead wallow in our own misery. If we want things to change, we simply have to do better. And on one hand, it's great that social media is providing people with a platform to raise awareness and call people out on their bullshit, because the only way to address a problem is if we're even aware of it in the first place. But I don't think people are getting that message. Instead, they take on a victim mentality and allocate all their efforts into antagonizing others as opposed to working on themselves. That is what's dangerous about the negative relationship content online. People aren't mature enough to mentally process the information in a productive and healthy manner. And because of this, that type of content polarizes people's opinions on the opposite sex and heavily influences the way they approach relationships. Imagine an impressionable and naive teenager who knows absolutely nothing about relationships. All they see online is people saying, "Men ain't shit. Be your own boss bitch and have these men bow down to you like the queen you are." Or, "Women are objects to be controlled and dominated. Be an alpha."
The Andrew Tate archetype is insane. The Andrew Tate, I'm looking at the baldini and the orange, bro. I already knew it was a top G. I already knew it was, bro. But no, do not be going online and listen to Andrew Tate, bro. You're just going to end up a very, very, very sad person. And you're going to end up angry and bitter. And that's the crazy thing is, y'all will sit there and listen to Andrew Tate and Fresh and Fit, bro, and all this aggressive advice, all this toxic advice and stuff like that, and then spew it at women, and all it's going to do is just make them repulsed at you. Like, they're going to be like, ugh, like, you sit there and just, you really think like that? And it's like, all you're going to just be doing is just scaring off the woman that you're trying to attract, and it's so sad.
Alpha male and treat women as less than you because that's the only way you'll get their attention. When this is the type of content being imprinted into their minds, do you think
or the woman you do end up attracting be like the bottom barrel woman that you sat there and you were stuck with before?
Be in the right headspace to have a healthy relationship? No. If anything, they're more likely to feed into the cycle of toxicity. People don't know how to act or think for themselves anymore. And if people aren't getting guidance in the real world, they end up seeking it in the online world. And unfortunately, a majority of the content online is not conducive to building healthy, well-rounded people. Dating is in a really tricky spot right now. There's so many factors and complexities that play a role into why it's become the toxic cesspool it is today, and the content online is only exacerbating the problem. There's so much more I want to talk about regarding this topic, but for now, the main takeaway is this: go outside and touch grass.
Yeah.
Nah, I'm just playing. Partially. But seriously, try not to be as chronically online as much. It's messing with your mental and skewing your perspective of the world. Instead, work on building more emotional and mental awareness so that you can discover what internal work needs to be done. And lastly, take what you see online with a grain of salt. Well, actually a whole gallon, because the online world isn't our reality, and we'll never be happy if we try to make it out to be. Alright, that's it for now. Take care.
My biggest takeaway from this video is, I think people need to sit there. Yeah, I agree with him. People need to just stop listening to all that crazy stuff online. You're going to get your heart broken a couple times in life. It's just how it is in life. And run into the internet and sit there and listen to all this negative talk on it online and listen to their advice and stuff is not going to work. What you really need to do is just realize that if you are a genuine person that's looking for someone to actually love and marry and all that stuff, 100% there is someone else out there just like you with the same intentions. You just got to sit there and be strong enough not to lose your heart in the process of finding them. And that's just my personal opinion. But alright, y'all. Let me know what y'all think in the comments, man. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe if y'all new, y'all. And I'm out, y'all. Peace.